Hello and welcome back to the channel. How's everybody doing today? I hope you are doing well. Anyway, so much is going on in this world right now that it's hard to ignore. At this point, it's hard to ignore. Of course, we do see those who are ignoring what they see happening in this world, and they think this is just a game still. You still have that group of people who still think this is just a game and that stuff is just going to blow over. But I want to talk about those gas prices. We have seen the gas prices climb so much. I mean, there are areas right now that are reporting such high gas prices they haven't seen in years. I know for one, we are seeing it at the pump. The pinch at the pump is what they call it. We are definitely seeing the pinch at the pump. And when you pile this on top of everything else that's happening, you can kind of see the direction that we are headed in. Playtime is over. How many times have I said that? Playtime is over. When I say these things and when other people say these things, we are not trying to fearmonger. You know, I've talked about it, how over the years, people have accused me of fearmongering. Now, before we moved, I've looked at some of my old videos to where I was saying things, and those things that I was saying way back then, we are living it right now. Okay? We're living it right now. Now, the things that I was saying is no different than what was already spoken of, what was already prophesied, what was already being talked about by many others as well. We were all just echoing the same thing because we saw what was coming down the pipeline, right? So there was nothing divine about what was being said. It's just us paying attention to the world around us, right? But it's kind of frightening when you do know that you've been talking about things and you are now living in it. It's no longer something that's down the road. It is something that is happening right now, okay? And I'm not just talking about the pinch at the pump, because there were times in the past, too, where we've had or experienced high gas prices. There's so much more to it than that. So much is happening. The gas prices is just one part of it, just one element of it. You have to think about your travels. You have to make sure that when you're going to go out and do one thing, that you can take care of a number of other things on that same day. You know, whenever we go out and we have things to do, we try to plan everything within one day, if you know what I mean. Sometimes it's not possible, but as much as we possibly can, we do try to plan things within that one day to save at the pump, because living is becoming very expensive. And this is why so much we have been talking about over the years, how people need to come together, how people need to work together, right? Some of you have taken heed to that. Some of you have not. Again, there are a lot of people who still think that life is a game and that one of these days we're all going to wake up and it's going to be the year 2000 again. There is no rewinding of life, okay? There is no rewinding. Each day brings you closer to your death, okay? Or some very rough times. The world right now is facing rough times. You got this war going on. Some people are calling it a farce. Some people, believe what's being reported. I mean, whatever your take is on it, it is what it is. We have heard, the Bible talked about wars and rumors of wars, and we are seeing that. But when you just kind of combine all of this stuff together, it is definitely something to take note of and pay attention to. It is not something that you want to just turn your ears off and pretend like you don't hear what's happening. There is definitely some changes that are happening in this world that have happened in the past few years, and we are starting to see this stuff unfold more and more. I, for one, don't believe that we should worry about these things. I think that we should take the information that we have and apply it to our lives as best as we can, doing what we can to secure our futures as best as we can, right? I've talked about fortifying. I don't know how long. I've talked about coming together with others. I don't know how long. And I've also talked about the fact that it's impossible to come together with everybody because some people are just full of it, right? Some people can't be trusted. It is what it is, right? You don't want to come together with people who, seem right on the surface or seem right in the very beginning, but then as time wears on, their true colors begin to shine through very clearly, right? We're in a time right now to where we are definitely going to have to consider making some major changes. And that's all across the board. I'm talking about the rich and the poor. Making some major changes, things that are going to secure us towards the future. We see that governments are changing, policies are changing, systems are changing, the economy is changing, the environment is changing, right? We are starting to see more and more natural disasters. And as we wake up from one day to the next, we don't know what we're going to see, what we're going to hear. But it's certainly something that we can't ignore any longer. We certainly can't ignore it any longer, you see. When I think about the things that are happening, the kind of person I used to be, I must admit, I used to worry more about things in the past. I did, right? But as you understand things, because let me tell you something, it's like the Most High taught me a lesson long ago. He says you're going to keep on going through the same lesson over and over and over until you finally get it right. And so when you realize that the Most High is a deliverer and that he's going to work things out and that he's going to see you through, then you say, okay, you know what? I don't want to keep going through the same test over and over where he's showing you, look, that he's going to open the door, he's going to make a way, and you're still worried about it. I don't want to keep going through the lesson of having to go through that again only for him to prove me wrong in my worrying. I want the Most High to be able to move freely in my life by simply trusting him. And that was the lesson that we learned, to stop worrying, because it's not going to change a thing. Okay? It's not going to change a thing. So don't worry about things. Have faith, trust the Most High. Faith without works is dead, meaning you have to do things. You can't just say I have faith, but you sit on the seat of do nothing, right? So we got to a point where we said, okay, you know what? This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. And once we got to that point, the Most High began to do things differently in our lives, to where we were no longer just sitting back worried about this and worried about that and fretting over this and fretting over that. We got over that hump. Okay? We got over that hump, you see. But life presents new challenges every day to us. It does present new challenges. So it's not to say that you won't be tested or tried anymore. Okay? It might be a different test or trial, right? Some of us have been tested and tried concerning our health, right? And we've shared testimonies before about how the Most High, even in those areas, is a deliverer. We thank him because he is a deliverer. He is a healer, right? And especially with all that's happening in the world today, it seems like so many people are putting themselves in harm's way when they seek help, if you know what I mean. They go to seek help, but they don't come out alive. And so much happening, I think the Most High is testing a lot of us. He's saying, look, either you put your trust in me or you put your trust in man. Whoever you put your trust in, that's who you're going to have to depend on. And so a long time ago, we decided that the Most High is where we want to put our trust. And so we encourage you to do the same. We encourage you not to worry about things because, again, worrying won't change a thing. It won't change a thing. But what you need to do is apply that same energy that you would put into worrying into action. Apply that energy by putting it into action and saying, you know what, instead of me fretting and worrying over something that I can't change, I'm going to put my faith into action and trust and believe that the Most High is going to do what he said he's going to do, right, in his word. So anyway, again, I wasn't trying to speak to you all to bring fear or to cause worry, but to cause you to think on the goodness of the Most High and trusting in him. I know some of you on my channel are not believers. And but I am grateful that many of you who weren't believers in the beginning, you've been seeing things and you've been sharing your testimonies with me that you now see the light and that you have crossed over into that awakened mindset. I'm glad to hear those kinds of testimonies. It makes my heart feel glad. So I'm going to continue to cry aloud and spare not and lift up my voice like a trumpet in Zion. I'm going to continue to encourage those of you who want to be encouraged. And I'm going to continue to warn those of you who want to keep your ears closed, right? Hopefully you will hear something that will spark you and cause you to go in the right direction. So anyway, keep an eye out for these rising gas prices and everything else that's changing as well. Regardless to where you stand in all of this, regardless to how secure you think you are in all of this, still put your faith and trust in the Most High. That's where it belongs. And for me, that's where it's going to stay. I'm done with this video. Until next time, see ya.